I got introduced last year to Gorilla Gold at the 2002 Remax World Long Drive Championship when a competitor handed me some Gorilla Gold during competition, and I used it good enough for a third place finish last year. But I really truly fell in love with Gorilla Gold when this year I played in a Pro-Am up in Washington State in a torrential downpour, and I told my Pro-Am team that we have to tack up, and it was good enough to shoot a 59 and win my Pro-Am event. So Gorilla Gold's really helped me out a lot, and I use it every day when I do practice or when I go out to play. Feel is everything, and that's where Gorilla Gold helps me out, is that it's gotten me to, when I'm in competition and my hands are sweating, it's gotten me to loosen up and release the club head better, which has actually given me about 20 yards further.
I'm a long driver and I do a lot of practicing, and I suffer from hands that get sweaty. I hit a lot of balls, and my gloves wear out really fast because my hands get slippery and the club slips. And so a friend of mine showed me Gorilla Gold, and I tried it and I was absolutely amazed. It saved me hundreds of dollars on golf gloves, and my grip is so much better than it has ever been in the past. I never have twisting in my hands when I'm swinging on the tee line. It's a fantastic product. I just take the Gorilla Gold and I just apply it down the grip lightly like that, and then I'm good to go.
I've participated in long drive for the last 3 years. This is my 4th year, and my 3rd year I was participating on the Pinnacle Long Drive Tour, and my hands sweat quite often, and of course we're hitting in the heat of summer, and I came across your product and used it at my first event with it and hit a ball 332. It was my longest personal best, so I definitely had to contact Gorilla Gold and went online and tracked them down and called the company and was able to get product, and I've just had no problem hanging on to the golf club ever since. Anytime you're hitting or competing in any sporting event and you're sweating with it, you know, obviously your hands are going to become sweaty also, and usually on a rubber grip, the sweat doesn't go real well with that. The Gorilla Gold has a tendency to repel the water from your hands and your grip, so personally I put it on my hand before my glove even goes on, because that helps keep my glove in place and keeps it from stretching out as quick. Also, I put it on my grips and then on my ungloved hand also, and it just, you just can't beat the way the tackiness helps you hold on with even just sweating all over the place. I've always been a competitive long driver, and I train all year round for it with weights and swinging and everything that I can do to help better myself. And the only thing that had ever hindered me was the fact that my hands would sweat so bad. I would probably go through 20 gloves in one practice session, maybe hit 10 balls with each glove and have to change gloves. And even then, when you're up on the tee and you've got a time limit set and you're trying to, you know, get things done in a timely manner, it wasn't always convenient to be changing gloves every other ball. And Gorilla Gold has enabled me to go on the tee, hang on to the club, and swing as hard as I can and not worry about if I'm going to lose that club or if the club's going to turn on me or send it down into the grid. Gorilla Gold has just really enhanced my long drive career, and it really gave me a rebirth in it. The Women's Long Drive Association, when we hit it with the LPGA, every LPGA player I introduced to Gorilla Gold was very taken by it because of the fact that a lot of times they don't get the choice of the conditions they get to play in, and whether it's misting or raining, all of them were just took right onto it and were very appreciative, and I know they're going to be using that product.
Well, I find that with the Gold, I don't have to focus so much on having to hold on to the club. And like in the past, I'd really have to concentrate on holding on to the grip. Now with this, I'm not focusing so much on the grip itself. I can just put my hands on it. I know I'm ready to go. Well, I know in golf, that's a lot of problems people have with golf is just gripping the grip and keeping hold of it. I see that a lot in golf. And I think just for the average golfer, in fact, a friend of mine that plays at one of the country clubs back home, I gave her some because she was having problems with the cold weather holding on because her hands would go numb. And since she's used this, she's able to play more into the season, and she's very pleased with the product.
You know, I had a friend of mine, Teresa Parker. She came second at World Championships in the year 2000, and she was using Gorilla Gold, so I thought I'd give it a try, and it's just been a fantastic product for me, especially when I'm getting really nervous and I get sweaty palms. I find it helps with my grip, and also if it's raining out and my club gets really slippery, I find it's a great thing to have to keep my hands connected to my golf club, because truly your hands are your only connection between you and the golf club. I really appreciate that I can control the tackiness or the amount that I put on. I can just put a little bit on if I'm just feeling that my hands are a little bit slippery, or I can put a lot more on for control. And it doesn't last forever and ever. I don't have to worry about, oh geez, 2 weeks down the road my clubs are going to be so sticky. And no, it lasts for the amount of time usually that I need it. And if I need a little bit more, I can reapply it. So I really appreciate that I can control that and use it to my liking. Well, you know, being from Canada, the weather can get quite cold sometimes, and I find that the Gorilla Gold works equally as well when it's cold or when I have to compete at a tour event in Arizona in 110-degree Fahrenheit weather. So I find it works equally well, both hot or cold.
In 2001, I believe it was my first event out here at the RE/MAX World Long Drive Championship Finals, and ran into Patrick, as a matter of fact, gentleman that represents the Gorilla Gold product, and gave it a whirl. And I took it back to my club in Port Richey, Florida, and a lot of my everyday golfers absolutely love it. You know, it just gives them a better grip and better feel of the golf club, and especially in Florida with that humidity, they need every opportunity to hang on to the grip that they can. So it worked out very well for us. And I like using it more into the fingertips because I'm a fingertip gripper. And especially when you're trying to stay loose and light and get a little whip in the golf swing when you're working strictly with long drive. And it helps a lot. I don't have a fear of letting loose. And being out here in Mesquite, it's, you know, it's really only about 85, 88 degrees today with no humidity, but we're still perspiring a little bit. And when you get a little nervous and adrenaline rush before you go out on the grid, you got to have something that you know you're not going to give up. It's like deodorant. Don't let go. Don't give up on me. That's the beauty behind Gorilla Gold. There's no need to feel like you have to squeeze the grip to maintain your grip pressure. Because as we all know, the difference between a beginning and intermediate golfer and a high skill level player is one that can control the grip, pressure, and position throughout the entire swing, because we're living proof out here in the long drive that the faster the golf club swings, the further the ball will go. And with that centrifugal force that's being created with your swing, the club's trying to pull away from you, you need to have something that's not going to let loose. And the Gorilla Gold really plays an important role in maintaining good grip position and pressure. Gorilla Gold is going to make a big impact at the club level. I know there's quite a few of us out here that are participating in the Gorilla Gold and using the product, but I find that it's terrific for my country club players. It doesn't do any damage that we've been able to see to rubber grips or the wind grip. And with that's such an important item on the golf club is the grips. And if you're a heavy player, you're going to change your grips 2 to 3 times a year. And when you do that, you may need to cut down maybe just twice a year if you're using the Gorilla Gold. There'll be less slick, less grip slippage.
I'm one of the long drivers that doesn't wear a glove. I just don't like the feel of them. I go through too many of them, and my hands were slippery. I was on the practice range hitting balls, and I grabbed it, I wrapped it around the grip, and you know, just squeezed it with my hands tight, and I mean, you got such a great feel and a product together that just, you know, that the club didn't slip, it didn't turn, and you know, you used to go back and wipe your hands off, you know, try to dry them off, and you know, with the Gorilla Gold, you didn't need it. It was like your hands just stuck to the club. My daughters play travel softball, fast pitch softball. This past weekend we were down at a tournament in Virginia Beach. All day Saturday it was misting and raining. The leather grips on the bats, they were slipping out of their hands. The girls had batting gloves on. You know, they couldn't hold on. You know, I brought it out. My daughter, I gave it to her from last year, from out here at Nationals. She put it on, one girl grabbed it, the next girl grabbed it. Next thing, all 10 bats, you know, were getting wiped down with it. In between innings, the pitcher was using it on her hands. She couldn't throw, she lost control. All of a sudden, her control came back. You know, and it's funny because when I got out here, the first phone call I got from my daughter was, remember, you know, Dad, bring home some more Gorilla Gold for the girls on the softball team. A lot of golfers, you know, they do overgrip. You know, I think a lot of guys buy golf clubs because, you know, their grips are worn out. They're trying to use the glove to get a little bit of a material between the rubber and their hands. And with the Gorilla Gold, you don't need it. You grab it, wrap it around the grip, squeeze it tight. It's on your hands. It'll last 6, 7 holes. One more squeeze, you know, you got the whole day done. It's taken care of, and it saves you about $15, $18 of a glove.
With Gorilla Gold, you can get the club into your fingers. Therefore, you have more control, more wrist movement. It just helps with every aspect of your game.
Well, Teresa Parker in the ladies division, watching her hit one day, and you know, we're both from the same state, Illinois. And I saw her putting this stuff on her grip. I said, "What in the world is that stuff for you?" She says, "You know," she says, "it's like a tacky Mac. You know," she says, "It's Gorilla Gold stuff's great." She says, "You want to give it a shot?" I says, "Yeah, why not?" So got up, put the stuff on it, you know, and I tell you what, it works. It helps. It helps. And she says, "You ought to try it underneath your glove." So when I did that, I always have a problem, like in the palm of my hand, with it slipping, especially when it gets real hot, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. Right here, it just sweats like crazy. She said, "Put that on underneath there." Did that, and the glove stopped slipping. And when you're hitting the ball hard, that's a real problem. So it works. It works. You know. So if you don't have to worry about the equipment, and to me, that's part of the equipment. If you don't have to worry about that, that's everything. If you can hold on to the club, knowing that it's not going to slip in your hand, knowing that you can go 110% at the ball, and knowing that the club's going to just stay right there, that's everything. That's everything.
Let me tell you, if you squeeze a golf club harder, you take the flex away from the shaft. You can't hit a golf ball far and hard with a strong grip. It has to be light. Gorilla Gold allows you to have a light grip but still maintain a firm control of the club. Our head pro at the Anderson Country Club was on the driving range with me, and so I go over with the Gorilla Gold. I say, "Kevin, give me your hand, your glove hand." I hand him the Gorilla Gold. He squeezed in his hand 2 or 3 times. I take it back. I said, "Now feel your golf club." He said, "I love this." It was just right for it. Well, the first time I got it, I had to experiment. And so I used it on my glove and also my right hand, which I'm a right-handed golfer with no glove on my right hand. And it worked fine, but I found out I didn't need it on the right hand. I had plenty enough control just in my glove hand. And what I like about it, it doesn't remain sticky. And so you can use it, and an hour later, you know, you don't have a sticky feeling on your glove, but you still got control.
I was introduced to Gorilla Gold about a year ago, playing in an LDA tour event, which I compete in about a dozen or 15 a year. I tried the product out for the first time, and I feel like the grip is a very important part of the swing, very critical when you're trying to hit the ball 360, 370. And I really like the product. It helps me to hold on to the club better, feel like I got a stronger hold on it, and I'm able to swing as hard as I can to be able to hit as far as I can. And I'm a zero handicap too. I play a lot of golf tournaments, and that's why I like the product, not just for long drive, but I also like it when I'm out playing, especially being from Florida. It gets real muggy and hot in the summer there, as you probably know, 100 degrees, 85% humidity. And so I'll go through 3 or 4 gloves around sometimes. And it's good having the Gorilla Gold because it helps me to hold on to the club that much better, which, you want to have a good feel for the club, or else, you don't want to slip it in your hands when you're out playing. A lot of people ask, what's the most important part of the golf swing, or generate the 140 plus mile an hour club head speed that we do, or hit the ball 360, type distances. And I think the grip is obviously definitely the most important part, because that's the only connection you have with the golf club is with your hands. I mean, a lot of people have different swings, back swing, on the top of the swing. You look at Jim Furyk, look at a lot of the long drive swings you'll see are very unorthodox or different, but they're effective in their own ways. But I think the grip is the universal thing that everybody has. You have to have a good grip, obviously, when you're swinging as hard as you can and trying to keep the control of the club and hit it as far and straight as you can in a limited area out on the grid. You have to be able to hold the club. It's critical to have a good feel for the glove, or for the club in your hands. My usually grip pressure is about a 5 or 6. From grip pressure from 1 to 10, I usually keep it in the 5 or 6 range. With this, I can maybe even keep it in 4 range, which is nice because I feel a little bit more relaxed. I don't have to. You don't want to have too much tension. Obviously, that'll hurt your, slow down your club head speed. You won't hit the ball as far.
I started off golfing in Florida, and the humidity there is just unreal. And, just having clubs flying down the fairways and stuff like that, no matter what you tried, from baseball, the talcum powder, all, rubbing in the dirt just might work, but it might not. And so between that and then now living in Washington State, playing in the rain, if you're going to live in Washington, you play in the rain, so you have to have something. And I don't know of another product other than Gorilla Gold that really is beneficial at all. You hold a golf club with your hands. So if you want to hit a good golf shot, you got to have a good grip, and your hands have to have the sensation of being on the club and in control. You can use a glove, you know, and you can use a glove and Gorilla Gold, and I do that sometimes too. But if you can, with Gorilla Gold, eliminate the glove and have your hands on the grip, how can it be any better than that?